This is episode
16.
16.
Episode 16.
We're never going to know the number. It's always listed, though. I always go and look to make sure when I upload it that it's correct, but I never know when we record the show.
And the show's called Indecisive Cinema.
That is the show you're listening to. We generally forget to...
And it's going to be a great episode. But first, my name is Carlos Hernandez.
And I'm Jeremy Knight.
I'm not going to say it.
Being comparable. Maybe I can say it for myself. I can speak for myself this week. Carlos. We do have some awesome laundry noise behind us, so please forgive us for that.
Which is funny, because then that day I listened to it and I didn't hear it.
You'd have to be listening with headphones probably to hear it, but my guess is this is a little louder than last week's. My guess is you can probably hear it in the background. I do my best. I mean, I'm not going to go in. I'm not an audio engineer. I'm not going to go in and totally take out all the audio. We're not working in a full studio here, guys. So I have a Zoom recorder.
The illusion is ruined.
It's literally propped up by my headphone case. We have an amazing setup going here. I have a lot of I have film equipment, but I don't have. I mean, we're not prepped for a podcast other than having a recorder. So. But that's totally fine. You guys don't get to complain. We're well aware of any kind of quality issues we may have because we're recording this in Carlos's kitchen.
Yeah.
And it is laundry day. It's also super fucking early. It's so early.
Well, it is. Yeah, right. This is, I think, the earliest we've ever done a show. It's 10 a.m.
It's 10 a.m. It's 10 a.m. It's so early. So here's the thing about me. Mm-hmm. For those of you who don't know, I work over during the night, and so I'm an editor. I'm a video editor, so I can work at any time, and so oftentimes I find myself once everyone goes to sleep, that's when I'll start working because then I don't have I'm talking about the people in my home. Once they're asleep and to bed, then I can get work done. Just because there's no distractions. And I don't have, friends calling me, not that I'm getting hit up by friends all the time.
Yeah, right.
Bro, let's go do this. Let's go do that. Let's hit up the beach. Let's hit up H-Town. No. But I don't have people calling me trying to figure out, the people I'm doing business with and stuff like that. So I work during the night anyway. And so I generally don't wake up before 10 o'clock. And when I have to, it's it takes a lot out of me. So
is that my fault?
You know how special this must mean to me.
This is a good episode.
For me to wake up on my day off. And,
I'm the opposite.
An awesome podcast.
I know, right? I'm the opposite of Jeremy. I'm a family man, and no offense to Jeremy, he's a good guy. I have a kid. I have 2 girls, and now I have a boy. And with Rhonda, we woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, so I had to get Rhonda to work. And JC to daycare at 5. Yeah, he had a 5. Got the girls up.
Never. I haven't woken up that early.
He probably went to bed at 5. And then I went, took the girls to breakfast at Colossian Factory. Got up to school at 8. Came back here, folded clothes, started washing more clothes, and we got this podcast sandwiched between Emma's what do you call it? Her cast is being taken off today, and then as soon as I drop off her back to school, I got to go pick up Rhonda. JC's graduation's up in Alvin. So, and then I got to buy my car. I finally found the car.
Oh, really? What did you get in?
It's a 2002 Toyota Corolla.
Oh, good job. I am a fan of Toyota.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not perfect cars.
No.
I've certainly had issues with mine. I have an 03 Camry, but they do hold their value. And
the engine purrs like a kitten. That's why I tried all the cars. There was always something wrong with it, and Juan was like, he was like, I can't be, Juan works a lot. I love Juan. He helps me all the time. Lisa's husband. And he got behind the wheel and he was like, oh my God, this car is really good. And we opened up. The guy, I lucked out with my last car, my baby. Unfortunately, that flash flood, I hate it.
It sounds like it's working out for you, though.
Yeah, this guy, he's a scientist from NASA. He's the second owner. The car's from 2002.
We live, or we're recording this 2 minutes from NASA. So
yeah,
for those of you that I don't know if we've ever discussed that. That's what part of Texas or Houston we live in.
Yeah.
I actually live a little further away, right down the road though. But you're a minute, maybe a minute or two from Space Center.
And the guy's a scientist there, and he literally used the car to go back and forth to work. He has a recreational car that he goes outside, like a cool looking car. that he chills with. So this car has 76,000 miles.
Oh, nice.
Friggin' the interior is a little bit messed up, but I can fix that for
those cars will drive for 200 though.
Yeah, and it's like the AC was colder than my house when I have the AC on, and the radio's brand new. So he put a lot of work. He said that he when we opened it up, you could see the battery was brand new. He said the battery died like a week before he put it up. So like Juan looked at it. He said the car's perfect, and then guess how much? That's the best part. $5,000. You say? I'm assuming not 500. The guy.
I don't know. I don't know.
I had 3,000. I had 3,000 to spend, and the guy gave it to me for 2,100.
Damn. And that's like legitimately a great.
I just thank God every day for that. So today we're gonna go pick up the car, and finally after a month.
What color is it?
That's the worst, bro. You know my black car. I love my black beauty. It's like a gray.
It's rose red.
It's a gray, and I'm not.
That's not bad.
I know. I'm gonna modify it with shit, but I got to.
I'm gonna go get it all decked out.
I love kitty stickers, but no, I'm very happy because I haven't driven by myself in over 2 months. Rhonda's been driving me back and forth. Our new schedules start next week, so I don't have to worry about her driving me to work.
Did you get the schedule you're looking for?
No, unfortunately, we can still do the show on Monday. It's no big deal.
Okay.
We'll just do it. We'll do it later in the afternoon.
Carlos was originally concerned that we were gonna have to move the show to like Friday or something like that.
Friday night,
which works fine for me, but still. What you just said is really important though. You said. We're gonna have to record later in the afternoon.
Later in the afternoon for you.
Which means I never have to wake up.
Wake up again, yes, thank God.
Well, and it gives me time though to like watch if there are movies. Like for instance, we're talking about today's episode of Indecisive Cinema is about Twin Peaks. Actually,
Twin Peaks,
which I finally finished. But we're gonna get back to that.
Yes.
So last night I was gonna watch Mulholland Drive though. Prep because we're also talking about a little bit of David Lynch. It's gonna come up in conversation, of course. And so like I couldn't because I have to watch Game of Thrones. No. I have to watch Silicon Valley, and I have to watch Last Week Tonight.
We got one up on each other because you know about Game of Thrones and I don't, but I know about Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, but we're not going to talk about Game of Thrones on the podcast. Yes, that's the only problem. Even though it's fantastic, guys.
Game of Thrones.
People are dogging this season. I think it's been fantastic.
Oh no, it's one of the best, if not the best season so far. But yeah, I love Game of Thrones. I've been watching at work, believe it or not, because I lost my cable. You know that story. And every time at work, it's like I watch it on Friday mornings. If I'm lucky, I get to watch it Tuesday. But most of the time, I watch it Friday mornings by myself. It's fucking. I know you mentioned something. I guess we'll talk about that.
We do have some news about it, but it's really pertaining to last week's episode. You haven't seen this week's episode.
I have not seen this week.
So please, for those
which on Facebook everybody's talking about.
Yeah. Even though I don't know that there's a lot of spoilers for this episode, to be fair, but still, I'm not a fan of that. So, but. I guess we'll just move into the news. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we needed to discuss other than just what we've been doing. We skipped last week. I actually am going to be moving into a partnership with a good friend of mine for his wedding business. So and that'll lead to some extra income. So that's why I had to go meet him. Of course.
No, I know you were very excited and happy, and I was.
So, there were good things that happened, and it allowed me to finish up Twin Peaks. And watch a couple of other Lynch's films. So let's move into movie news, though. Game of Thrones, over the past... This is 2 weeks. We literally only have 2 things.
I didn't hear about it, so I'm shocked. Well, go on.
Well, just a bunch of people went crazy about the rape scene. And this is a spoiler... spoilers, I guess. This is season 5 spoilers. If you're not that far, I'm sorry, Carlos already spoiled it, but I'm not going to go.
I'm sorry.
I'm not going to go and bleep that out. I'm going to have to listen. I'm going to go find this section of the podcast. Probably not going to happen, to be fair. But spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen. I think it's episode 7 of Game of Thrones, season 5. But just stay clear of if you haven't seen that episode. But so the minor spoilers for Game of Thrones. I mean, it's major. I would assume, but there's a rape scene at the end of this episode.
Exactly. The last second.
With Ramsay and Sansa Stark, and a lot of people were like, I mean, this was like a big news thing. people are like really, really upset and offended, and people are saying like people shouldn't be watching this show. I mean, a lot of it are conservative.
Because why?
It's like groups of there's a particular group. We're not going to get into politics or religion or anything like that, but there's a particular group of people that's completely against this show and are up in arms about the fact that they would show something like that on television, even though that's been happening forever in television. Like, rape is a thing on like HBO and in movies. It's been that way for a long time. I mean, and they're just complaining about the graphic nature of it and kind of how twisted it is, and that the show is trying to the show is like taking pleasure in the fact that this is happening, and it's just like the other thing. Let me get this out of the way.
Yeah, go ahead.
The other thing is this is one of the few things that's kind of it's gone a little differently from the books, and so they're saying that they're skipping out on what happened in the books so that they can include this rape scene, and it just people are offended by that. So, what are your thoughts on that? What do you think? Are people insane? Are they? And a lot of these comments are coming from people that haven't actually seen the show, so they don't.
Oh, so they didn't see it. Oh my God.
And like I said, this isn't people I personally know or anything like that. These are just articles I've read.
Yeah. I know.
I discussed it with my father. Also watches the show, and he would be not necessarily conservative or anything like that, but he's more conservative in regards to that subject matter. Rape is a horrible thing.
Of course.
And I mean, and I don't think. Well, okay, that's my opinion, but it's a horrible thing, and
of course it is.
And so people are just really upset about that.
Yeah.
What do you think in regards to that?
Okay, so first off, I mean, the show. Look at the context of the show. You're talking about stuff that happens in, actually, sci-fi fantasy, and it's in a created world. But, I mean, rape happens almost all the time in this created universe. And I'll say this. I mean, I already ratted it out, and I'm trying not to go say it again, whoever didn't hear me. But...
No, we've spoiler tagged it now.
I mean, God forgive me. God forgive me for even saying it. It's like, I mean, do I enjoy rape? No. Has there been rape on the show before? Yeah. Has it been this controversial? No. And why? Because of the character. But let me tell you something. This is going to go bad for me. I hate that character. The character actually created the events that have led to everybody in this show dying.
Really?
And yes.
Yeah, that's not...
Yes, because she's...
That isn't
it's her,
wrong.
I'm in love with this dude. I'm going to marry him. And because of shit, look at all the shit that happened. And it's like, everyone has died. Now, does she deserve to be...
I don't think it was her personal fault, though, that everything has happened, though. I mean, like, her character
is such a... like what happened... Okay, go back to Arya.
Hey, we're not going to get into other spoilers in the show, though.
No, but I'm saying, like when she took... I guess it's a Godfathering thing where
there's a particular
you
house,
don't side against the family. So for her to take what's the asshole's name, like his side when that happened with Arya, it was that kind of thing. Like, oh, this is my man, whatever he does. It's just something that I hated her. And every episode I hated her, and I hated her. And when this happened to her, I was like kind of upset because like I don't think I got raped, but I was like, fuck this fucking bitch. I mean, she should get something, get her ass beaten. I always wanted her to get a... I know. I'm just saying, I'm from Brooklyn. People I know already are saying, this guy's an asshole. I don't want to hear him. But I'm saying, she needed to get a beating. She needed to get a beating throughout the whole show. Nothing's happened to her. I mean, I know stuff has happened to her. But I mean,
to be fair, like if this were a real person in real life, and that's a different story. I don't know that, well, I don't know. I don't know what you think about that, but I think we're talking about in the context of a fictional series.
Yeah, but exactly. But I think that she's done a lot to cause a lot of pain to other characters, inadvertently. And I mean, I think, and like I said, you may not pinpoint it from her, but I do. I always go back to her being a little girl in love and wanting to be married to a
that's
prince.
True.
That's what I'm saying.
You're right, yeah.
It begins there.
But she was younger.
And her father gets it, her mother gets it, her brother gets it. It's all because of this character. And this character deserves to be raped.
Yeah.
No. But I kept saying one day, well, someone's going to give her a beating, or someone's going to give her a smack, or what's his name, the stupid asshole who everybody loved to hate, who died last year. I thought he was going to give her beatings upon beatings. But it never happened until this. And you know what? I remember sitting there. I remember saying, because I knew, out of all people in the show, a virgin, the whole nine, I was like, that's fucked up. But you know what? I was like, well, at least she got something. She didn't get a beating that she deserved, but she got something. And then, of course, it's by one of the next big asshole on the show,
he's one of the big bads.
And I thought the big bads, using a Buffy reference. And I'll say this.
No, that wasn't intentional. I haven't seen Buffy. So.
You should. That should be after Twin Peaks. But this is the story. Like, I thought what happened last week, again, without spoiling, Reek.
Oh, I guess we've already spoiled last week's episode, so it doesn't really matter.
Reek. I thought Reek was actually going to
intervene.
Yeah, I thought he was going to actually change the tides.
No, it's not that kind of show.
And it's not that kind of show, right.
Here's the thing, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sansa Stark has suffered through, and you're right, and I'll agree with you, actually, now. I forgot about that scene where she kind of puts in motion a lot of the plot.
Yes.
But, to be fair, she was a lot younger.
Yeah.
And I don't know, and I don't know about it in the context of the books, but in the show, she was certainly, younger. And she was ignorant. And she has suffered, though, probably more than anyone else in the entire show. So you're talking about like how she's got to get a beating at some point. It's like, okay, but she's been being like abused and just mistreated, and she's just had a miserable life. And to be honest, I've been tired of watching it until she went with Littlefinger. And that was where I got more interested in her story.
In her story, because she went with Littlefinger.
Yeah, no, because I love him. Anytime. For any excuse that we can have Littlefinger on screen for longer, that I'm a fan.
You're a big fan of Littlefinger?
Well, I've been a fan of that actor though since The Wire. Because he's great. But no, anyway, she's been. So it's like, I mean, that poor character's been through so much. But regardless, I don't want to get into the subject of whether or not she deserved it. That's not really the point.
I didn't say she did. I felt bad. I did.
It's just, well, and like I said, it is a fictional story, so it doesn't matter what our opinion is on that. Because we wouldn't say that about anyone in real life.
No, of course not.
Just to clarify for those of you listening,
I don't want
Carlos is a fucking idiot.
Yeah, they say, "You're from New York." They're from north. They're from up north.
But I think it's totally fine for rape to be in a show, especially when it's not graphic. Mm-hmm. I mean, even if obviously the situation is graphic, rape is never like an easy thing to watch. Even if you don't show anything, there's no nudity, there's no it's disturbing because you leave enough to the imagination. But to be fair though, that's a challenging subject matter that puts in motion. I mean, you've seen The Sopranos, right?
Of course,
I'm going to spoil The Sopranos. It's like 10 years old. Go
10 years old, yeah, go watch it.
When the psychiatrist gets raped. And it totally changes the whole way that character's path. Just, and it's for the better, honestly. I mean, at least it creates
for the better.
It creates interesting drama for a television show, and we're talking about fictional characters, so it's like, to be honest, it's good drama, and I'm not saying, like I say, I'm not justifying it, and especially in real life. But that does happen in real life, and art's supposed to imitate real life, and that it's a thing that takes place, and especially at that time period, it was probably far more common, even though it still happens far too much in real life now. But yeah, it just, especially people that don't watch the show. I mean, if you watch the show, you've seen children burned. I'm not going to go into, because I don't want to go into spoilers, but you see just disturbing things all throughout all the seasons. I mean. And it's like, what's the... I mean, obviously, this is sexual violence versus, just plain violence. But, it's still like you're watching a TVMA show. It's got a, viewer discretion advised tag in the front of it. You don't get to complain if you sit here and watch the show. And you definitely don't get to complain if you haven't watched the show and you're just hearing about some rape scene in a show going, who would watch a show like that?
I know, right?
Shut the fuck up. It's just completely ridiculous. I don't know. It frustrates me when people that aren't the target audience of whatever they're discussing are complaining about something that they have no context for. It's like you're not, you can't bitch about something that doesn't impact you at all. So yeah, and we could go into that with politics. And it's always frustrating to me. And so I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah,
especially for a show that's been going on this long.
That
has rape literally all the time, and they've had more graphic rape before to more vulnerable people.
Agreed.
And it just, but we care about this character. It's like, okay, but we've cared. They've done horrible things to all the characters in this fucking show that we love. So yeah, it's just stupid. But yeah, anyway. Moving on to good news involving Game of Thrones.
Good news.
They released. I don't know if this actually came out this past 2 weeks, but I saw it this past 2 weeks, or the past 2 weeks we've been gone, and I wanted to discuss it. Did you see the Coldplay video with the Game of Thrones characters?
No.
So Coldplay, I think it was for Red Nose. I don't know the company. I think it was Red. I think it was some kind of fundraiser for not fundraiser, but I don't know exactly. It was like some kind of campaign for a charity event of some form. To be totally honest, I have no idea what it is, but they made us like kind of a satirical video about them trying to record this Game of Thrones album, Coldplay, and they had like the main guys from Coldplay, and it was kind of a music video like / This is Spinal Tap type behind the scenes video, and it includes basically like they're trying to create this Game of Thrones album, so they're trying to get all the cast members to show up and help record, and it's one of the funniest things I've seen on the internet, and not on the full internet. There's other funny things on the internet. Just on YouTube or Vimeo, I think.
I'm gonna check it out.
But it's really funny. I mean, considering it's like, this was like something that was produced. It's not just like some random person on the internet that produces something funny. It's really well written, and they get like nobody shows up the first time, and it's just I forgot which characters. It's like Robert Baratheon, and there's really funny jokes about the characters and about like the actors themselves, and then you get some of the cast kind of intermingling, and they make references to the show. It's really funny, and if you haven't seen it, you should go check it out.
I'm gonna check it out. Check it out.
And all of you should go check it out. If you watch Game of Thrones, if you don't watch Game of Thrones, you may find it funny. You probably won't, so don't watch it until you've seen all of Game of Thrones, which you should go watch.
Yeah.
So you should, maybe that's your excuse. Maybe this is the thing.
I know, right?
It's like you watch this Coldplay video and you're like, I need to watch Game of Thrones. I'm missing out on something, and you are.
5 years later, you're a bandwagoner. Savage.
So anyway, moving to our kind of main, we do have some movies to talk about, but actually, you know what? I'm going to leave this because it's about Twin Peaks. Yeah. We all know David Lynch is coming back, and it's a beautiful thing.
All episodes.
So we're gonna kind of get into that later anyway. So I'm gonna move on to the movies I've seen and you've seen.
Okay.
We've only got one new one. I saw Pitch Perfect 2, and if you listen to last week's episode, you know that I said, do you need to answer that? Well, last week's episode, Carlos saw Pitch. Or not last week, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago
we discussed Mad Max and Pitch Perfect 2, and I said that I would only see Pitch Perfect 2 if I got stuck in a situation where I had no control over what we watched, and I got stuck with some friends, and they're like, let's go see Pitch Perfect 2. Guess what happened the night of the day we recorded the podcast? Exactly that. And I still haven't seen Pitch Perfect 1.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's right.
And I drove there with a friend and got stuck there because I didn't have, I couldn't like drive away, and just a terrible situation. And like, it was like close friends of mine, and then one of them brought along somebody I didn't know, and so I couldn't be a dick about it. I couldn't like say like, I don't want to see Pitch Perfect 2. What are you talking about? Yeah. You're on the phone, so I'm gonna pause this.
No, I'm just listening to what they said.
Oh, okay, fine. Go. So I had to sit through Pitch Perfect 2, and I have to say, I hate it so much. I hate this movie.
You hate it? How can you hate it?
Because it's terrible. Okay, so I have heard nothing but good things about the first one, so I am only gonna complain about the second one, and I acknowledge the fact that I'm not the target audience. I just got a text message from you. Why are you texting me? In the middle of the show?
Go on.
So
I like your funny stories.
I think this is a prime example of a sequel that just made to make money. And there are okay things in it. I think Anna Kendrick is just fantastic.
Yeah,
even if she's not being like even if she doesn't have anything to do in terms of like acting, which she certainly doesn't in this film. That's not her fault. It's just the script is just terrible. But she's always great to watch. I mean, and it's not. And she's gorgeous and just adorable and likable, and so she's great, and so all the stuff with her in the movie is fine, especially the stuff with what's his name, black dude from Comedy Central stand up.
Key and Peele. Key.
Is it Key? Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was one of them. I didn't know which one it was. I didn't want to say it without. So I've never seen that show. So I've literally seen them more on Fargo than I've seen the show. Yeah. I like both of them though because of Fargo a lot. He's great. He's the best thing in this film, and all of the stuff with the recording studio and whatnot. That's great, and it's really not great. It's fine. It's watchable. That's the best stuff in the movie, but I feel like this movie had to just hit all the checkpoints of the first film, and I really feel like, and I've heard somebody else, I forgot which critic said this as well. It was just I felt like, and it was directed by
Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah, Elizabeth Banks, and and I feel like that's the stuff where she really gets to work and really gets to kind of direct and do some new stuff. It's the only thing that's fresh in this movie. I haven't even seen the first one, but I know this movie feels like a movie that has to be a copy of its original film, but it feels so tied to that original that it can't do anything else. And so when you get those scenes, you're like, oh, finally, we're back to the recording studio. But then just everything else in this movie, other than the underground dance scene,
that was genius.
David Cross, it's not genius. It's
I loved
fine.
it. It was good.
It's fun. But other than that, it's painful to watch at times, I think. The campfire scene, which a lot of people said they liked, is just terrible.
No,
I mean, it's not because the people that are in it are bad. It's just because the script is so completely flat, and it's just stuck to the same bullet. I mean, and like I said, I haven't even seen the first film, but the Asian girl that talks real quietly. Yeah, I did, because I saw this one. And the, big girl is... big, and big. And it's just guys big. And it's just everything feels so forced, and you can just it's like they'll make a joke about food, and then guess what's gonna come next is a joke about the fat girl, or my family back in Brazil or wherever the fuck I'm from, it was always really hard. We didn't have a bathroom or whatever. Yeah. It's just
that was stupid.
Stop. Okay. And Dave White actually really hated this film because of that. I don't know that that's that big of a problem, because it's just kind of a throwaway gag. It's not one that works. And so all the 5 times that they use that joke, the foreign girl complains about the harsh conditions of the country she's coming from. You're just that joke isn't funny, and it's trying and this is the comment Dave made on Linoleum Knife, is that it reminds us that they're living in a world of first world issues, and so it's just I don't need that reminder from the screenwriters. It's you're reminding us that these problems don't matter. Okay, so you're trying to make this to be this big thing, that's another thing. I don't understand what the problem in this film is. She goes on TV and reveals, which is a funny scene, they're playing for Obama, and I can't stand Elizabeth Banks and the other announcer from Arrested Development. I like both of them. Lawyer. They're so I can't stand them in these movies. They might be better in the first. I don't know if they're in the first movie.
They are. They're not. They're the same.
But I just feel like the script is just so weak, and it's because it was done in a year to re-release it for to keep its audience, and anyway, so she reveals herself in front of all these people, and then now everyone hates them for it's an accident, people, and they apologize, they handle it really well, and now they're like, you can't. It's the stakes don't make any sense. And especially in the context of your third world girl that's complaining about how harsh all the conditions were at home. It's okay, none of these things that are happening matter. It's what does matter to me though is Anna Kendrick going to the studio and possibly becoming a music producer. It's that's great. There are better stakes in that. It's her future career, and she's also the main character, and so she takes kind of this side seat And, you know, and I know it's because her character is going off doing other things.
Yeah,
but it's like, well, that's what we care about. So, like, when she comes back, it's like, we don't care about this anymore. The main character doesn't even care about this anymore. And it's just so awful. And it's harmless, though. Like, that's what I say. It's not, like, offensive. It's just so generic. And, the whole time I'm sitting there going, I would rather see Unfriended. I would rather see Mad Max again. And the reason we couldn't go see Mad Max is because it was in 3D. I wouldn't want to sit through that in 3D, to be fair. But still, I would rather go see it in 3D than this. Yeah. I mean, there was Fast 7, which I hadn't seen. You know, there were like 4 or 5. Oh, and Ex Machina was out. I would have gone see that again. Yeah. You know, it's like literally like 5 or 6 options of movies that I would rather see over this. And that's the one where they pick. And I'm just like, no. Anyway, I know I'm not the target audience, so like I said, my opinion literally doesn't matter in this subject, but this is more a complaint to the filmmakers more so than like the people that are watching this movie. Like I said, it is harmless. It's not like I don't think it's as bad as like a Transformers, you know, movie, which I also got stuck watching the dark side of the movie the other day, and it was just like, it's so bad. But anyway, I don't think they're as bad as like those films. Like, you know, everybody seems like they want to be there. It's just the script just is not there, and it's... You know, it's formulaic in the worst possible way, but like not offensive. You know, it's fine for kids and stuff like that. It's just it needs to be. This needs to be better if it's going to be. You know, like especially considering I heard the first one was good. It's
it was.
And you have a cast of people that are likable and.
It was just anyway. like when they announced the sequel, it was like you said, money. So,
but you can, I mean, like with a cast like that, you get everyone back. You get a lot of the same filmmakers back. I mean, I don't know that the same director.
But then if you work on a script and you get everything right, it won't come out next year. It'll come out 2 years later. And that's why they're afraid.
I mean,
they're afraid people are going to forget.
Hollywood just needs to move faster, is what I think. Well, because it's not that hard to make those. Because that's the one thing you can fix is the script. You know, you can't fix problems on set. You can't fix, like, you can go and shoot a script and it not work. This is not an example of that. This is an example of the script being done in a week and, you know, them rolling it out and shooting it. And it's just rushed. And, I mean, like, it's well made. That's something, it's like, in terms of, like, the filmmaking and stuff is fine. It's shiny and bright. It's fine. But, you know, the jokes are not there. Or if they're, some scenes don't have jokes. It's just, like... It's painful, but like I said, not offensive. So that's something I can say about it.
That was the only movie you saw in the theater?
In the theater this week. I wanted to go see Tomorrowland.
I did.
Mixed reviews.
Did
you see Tomorrowland?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Tomorrowland then.
So Tomorrowland.
Don't spoil it though, please.
Fucking spoiler alert. Well, how about this? Well, no, a lot of people read The Watchmen. So I like Tomorrowland. I didn't love it. I liked it. Very impressive opening. You're a filmmaker. You know how to make things look good. Like, I love the opening. Like, they actually took you to the 1962 World's Fair. And a lot of movies have done that. But Disney's fucking Disney. They do such great work. And it was so magical. They really made you feel like you were there at the fair. Everything. I'm not really into that. But when I see movies, I always think, damn, I want to go there. I want to learn more about the World's Fair. There was supposed to be many more.
Yeah.
That was the last one. It was like a failed out then. And this movie has that same theme. Something that was so grand, spectacular,
that just
great,
never came
and it just dwindled afterward. And the kid who plays and there's no spoilers. I mean, you find out the name if you watch the commercial. The kid who plays George Clooney in the opening, really good. It's like, you know, you meet another character. Again, no spoiler. You meet her early on, Athena, and you know they're really cute together. And Hugh Laurie is like the leader of the program for Tomorrowland. And you have this great opening, very Disneyfied, very spectacular. And then after that, you know, you meet this girl. What's her name? Kimmy Robertson, the actress. You meet her, and she's like this girl who, you know, her father worked at Cape Canaveral. Got fired. They're taking down Cape Canaveral because, you know, Kennedy's dead and we really didn't go to the moon and that whole thing. And
for the children that are listening,
I know we didn't go to the moon, but
Interstellar spoiled that too.
That's right.
It's okay. They know already.
You know that there's
you didn't hear it from us.
Now the FBI's coming, but yeah, so...
We had to kick our door in the little podcast. We heard what you said.
We went to the moon.
As if we're recording this live.
But But yeah, so that was it, and then you get this girl who, you know, she doesn't want this dream to end. She wants to stop them from dismantling the future of going to places, and this leads her to then come across the plot of the film. And of course,
and let's not move past that because that's all I know.
Yeah. And that's it. And then, you know, once you touch those things, you go to this Tomorrowland. I liked it. I liked the script.
Directed by Brad Bird.
And I was very happy about that.
Huge fan.
So am I. You know, I did.
Huge fan of Brad Bird.
Like, there's so many. It's great because Iron Giant, The Incredibles, they're all in this movie.
Yeah.
And that's not a spoiler. I mean,
you'll see the tone of it.
And it's like you see it, and I loved it. But then, and again, I mean, was it written and directed by Brad Bird or just directed by Brad Bird?
I don't know.
Let me check that because that might be the bad thing. Believe it or not, Damon Lindelof.
Oh yeah, that would be why.
And that makes sense. But but what happens? Yeah, is like
Damon Lindelof seems to fuck up everything he touches.
and you know why? Again, because he borrows from somebody. The end of the movie, when I'm sitting there, they're explaining everything. You know, like we talk about Interstellar, how when they explain things, you're like, I'm just saying. Then I sat there, and I was like,
I don't want to know that there's a scene where they explain everything.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that a spoiler? Scene where they explain everything? No, it's not. There's always a point of the movie where they explain shit. But yeah, and like again, like I like George Clooney. Do you like George Clooney as an actor? Yeah. I love him, and I like watching him play grizzled old men.
He's great.
Yeah, and he's good. Kimmy Robinson.
Anybody that says he's not is just wrong. It's like Brad Pitt, like people that are like hating on him because he's a good-looking dude.
I like
you're wrong. Like they're very good actors.
So I'd say go see it because it is. Magical movie, you know.
Kind of has that spectacular.
It does.
Feel to it. And that's why I was so excited for it.
Yeah.
I still want to see it, regardless of how kind of a lot of people said it's very much kind of becomes this formulaic thing.
It does. Yeah.
But you know, knowing that, I at least maybe I won't. I've lowered my expectations.
Yeah.
But I still want to see it. I love Brad Bird.
You did what you did.
I hate Damon Lindelof.
And you know
he gave us Lost.
I love Lost.
He gave us some of Lost, and then he also fucked that up.
Like the ending, I said, like if Damon Lindelof's attached, you know that's going to fizzle out, and that's basically my review.
Finished ideas.
Yeah, but he's a very smart writer. He's just, it's like, you know, you sit there, you're writing. Then at one point,
eventually you have to explain it, and then he just doesn't. They need to have him come in and write like the first half of a script, and then have somebody else come and fix it.
I think that's a good idea.
Like, I mean, because that would be a great solution to that problem. Like, because he really though. I mean, and we're not just talking about Prometheus and talking about like Lost. Mm-hmm. I mean, he wrote some of the Leftovers as well.
Yes,
I think
he did do a lot of the Leftovers.
You know, in which again, like all of these are things that like have these great premises that he just doesn't know what to do with once he sets them up. And I mean, it's just frustrating as hell because he is a good writer. I mean, and really he comes up with these great worlds, and you know, the dialogue is generally fairly well written. I mean, you know, that's something that he does really well. I mean, but
World War Z, Star Trek. Yeah, I forgot about that. Leftovers. Yeah,
Star Trek. Star Trek is good though. I give him that. That one, the 2009 Star Trek is, I think, a great film.
Cowboys and aliens.
I won't give, but some of those I won't blame on him though. Some of that's bad direction. But you know, in the case of like Prometheus or Tomorrowland, there's no excuse because these directors are very talented. Now it might be partially a directing standpoint, but I mean, I don't know. When it's issues with the story though, like in the case of Prometheus. Prometheus is a great film. Other than that, I love you know, so it's like with some minor tweaks to the story, which is what he's in charge of. You know, you can make that a much better film. So, well, I'm glad that you didn't hate it though. Not that I expected you to hate
Brad
it.
Bird, his next film is Incredibles, so that should be good.
Yes. Oh yes.
Incredibles 2.
Oh yes, I am so excited. I'm a huge fan. So, let's get to the two movies that I lent you.
Let me two movies. What happened? Cheap Thrills.
Let's talk about Excision first.
All right, because it's and it's funny because, like I said, I actually said,
for those of you who don't know, Excision is a film about a girl that she wants to become a surgeon. And it's kind of a dark comedy / there's some horror.
Very dark.
It's a dark comedy. It's certainly a comedy,
but it's just not.
It's playful in so many ways, except for the ending. The ending is like hardcore
that's
disturbing.
What I'm saying. That's where it's not being
no, this movie, but that's what I love about it. So
I enjoyed it.
I don't love this movie.
Well, no, I don't say that.
I don't love this movie.
I
do really like it because
end.
it is a funny movie. I think in how
the
dark
main
it
character,
is.
whatever her name is, she is very like I don't know what she looks like in real life.
She's gorgeous. She's like really pretty.
Yeah, I'm assuming she's pretty because they show her in her head the way she looks. And you know what I loved about this movie? Because I was like, what the fuck did Jeremy buy this movie? He got weirder taste than I am.
Okay, props to Red Letter Media. They're the ones that pointed this out. Jay Bauman is one of the main guys over there at Red Letter Media.
Mm-hmm.
They did a review, and he mentioned this on one of his year recaps. That's how I found out about it. So,
and for such a low budget movie I didn't even heard of, has a lot of good actors in it.
It's well directed.
Yeah, you got Tracy Lord. You have the girl from Modern Family.
Yeah.
You have friggin' oh my god, the director of Pink Flamingos and Hairspray. John Waters is in it.
Yes.
You got a lot of these actors in it. I'm like, how did they do this movie or why they did this movie? But in the end,
Malcolm McDowell,
Malcolm McDowell, yeah, that's right. He's a teacher or whatever he is. I mean, it just culminates to that last scene, I think, which is just everything. But
which I think elevates it up a level.
No doubt.
I really like the way it ends. It's
like
disturbing.
It's
very disturbing.
I like I said, I was like, why didn't you give me this movie? And I put it in. And I was enthralled. I was looking at it, and then I was like, "Oh, look at these actors! It's interesting."
It's a movie I can show to people because it is kind of funny. If they like dark comedy, obviously, if you don't like dark comedy, don't watch it.
And then I love
it's not perfect.
No. But then when it goes into her head, and you're like, "Oh my god!" It's like such a great because you're literally inside this girl's twisted mind, and then she comes out, and
that's where the movie has its style, because I don't know that the rest of the film really has much of a look to it.
No,
other than that last scene, and the dream sequences, which are
the dream sequences,
well
which of course, and I enjoyed it, and I thought it was really good, and I was just like, I said, I was like, oh my god, that ending was like, holy shit, bird.
I would compare it actually to Carrie in a lot of ways. It kind of has like that coming of age kind of feel to it. Obviously, it's not like a power that she's it's just she's really into cutting things. It's like I said, it's a darkly funny film with a very good ending. I don't know that it really fits the movie necessarily, but it is interesting, very interesting, and.
You know why? Because the movie's so reined in, it's so well done where you actually think it's going to go another way. It could have been a happy ending or a dark comedy ending.
Yeah.
But instead, it was like
a really disturbing, kind of sad,
and you're going with it. And I was like, oh my god, it's not happening.
So, this is a movie I think, and it's based on a short film, I believe, by the same director.
That makes sense.
And that's why he got this made. I think he actually follows me on Twitter. I made a comment about it. Not that that's important at all.
No, you should be happy people fucking directors are following you.
But not that I don't post ever. It's not like it's not like he's tuning in to Indecisive Cinema.
But he should be saying, let me follow this guy Jeremy. Oh shit, Indecisive Cinema, check it out. He's not following us.
Richard Bates is his name, but
that's how I kept saying.
It's based on nice. It is based on a short film, and I feel like this would work better as a short film. It just kind of you don't have to make it an hour and a half, and so you could really do a lot of the dream stuff and that a little bit faster. If this were a 10-minute short, which I think is what the original was. Maybe it's 18 minutes. That's perfect because then it doesn't you don't have to fill in as much. And so I feel like it would probably work better as a short film. But definitely has some cool stuff in it. So if you're a fan of that genre, it's more of a horror film than a dark comedy.
I give you that. Yeah, I give you that.
Yeah, go check it out. It's different. It's not perfect, but it's certainly.
Have you seen his other movies or no?
No, that's all I've seen.
Suburban Gotham. It's good too.
And then you saw Cheap Thrills.
I did.
You said you liked a lot.
Yeah, I did like a lot. I'm glad I saw it.
I guess we can go premise real quick.
Yeah, real quick.
Very, very simply set up premise.
But again, and not that it's original in any way. I mean, the Twilight Zone did it in the beginning, but eccentric people with money, I guess you could say.
Let's start with the main characters.
Oh, okay. You want to talk about
Pat Healy and Ethan Embry.
Pat Healy's the main character.
Pat Healy's the main character. He has a family. He has a daughter or a son, a little child.
He has a son, and he used to be somebody. He used to be a writer, and he was a big deal. And
like he's kind of fallen into like
mechanical work. He lost his job writing, and for whatever reason, I guess it washed up, or maybe But anyway, he ends up.
Finds out he has an eviction notice.
Eviction notice. He also gets
a couple months behind on his rent.
Yeah.
Very these are things that have been done before, but it's done in like 3 minutes. Like it's like we see the wife and the son, and then he walks outside. Sees it's tastefully done. It's done with visual. Yeah. I mean, it's not like like you're fired, but it's like you see the conversation.
Yeah,
you know what happens,
but
you don't necessarily like it's even though it's a simple cliche. I would even go as far as cliche premise. Yeah. It is handled well, but that's to get to the rest of the film.
Yeah, and it leads up to the bar, and in the bar he meets Ethan Embry, who was an old friend from school. They haven't seen each other in 5 years.
Yeah,
I know you haven't watched it in a while. It's been 5 years since they've seen each other. But yes, in school, we realized that Pat Healy was the typical nerdy guy that Ethan Embry, who's his brutish.
They were in a band as well.
Yeah, at one point they had a band that was didn't last long.
So they meet in a bar and they're kind of like, "Hey man, it's so good to see you. Like, what's going on? Are you married? What are you doing?"
The whole nine,
and then the money problems kind of come up. Wow, that laundry machine is yelling right now.
Let's see what it says to me. Do I have to shut it off? No, okay.
No, it's
I'll go on.
But and so they're excited to see one another, but at the same time, like both of them have their issues. He's kind of like a drug addict. I don't know if he's like an addict, but he's definitely a hardcore drinker.
Yeah, he has addictions or addiction issues.
Yeah, and so they. And we're not going to spoil anything after this moment.
Yeah. Okay.
They look over at the bar and see these this couple that they look. They don't necessarily look like they have a lot of money. But they're kind of they act. They have that kind of attitude, and they're kind of laughing and stuff like that. And they go over and they I don't remember. But it's played by David Koechner, who's
Keechner.
Keechner.
He's from
Keechner, I think is from The Office. He played
he was also
Hacker on The Office.
Anchorman.
Yeah, he's in everything.
Right.
You know him.
Yeah.
But and then Sarah Paxton as well. Plays his girlfriend, wife, whatever. I think it's his wife. I don't.
His wife.
Okay, so they're sitting in the bar. He's wearing. They're dressed in like nicer clothing, and they call them over. Or they say like, "Can we take a picture of you?" or whatever, something like that. And they're like you should come have a drink with us. Come have a drink. And so David Koechner and they invite them over to sit down. And then they start. Basically, they're like introducing themselves and stuff like that, and talk about we're friends, we've known each other since high school and whatnot, and that's great. We should take a picture and celebrate this moment. He's really excited and stuff like that, and he starts making like these little like bets. Like he's like, I'll pay you $50 whoever takes this shot. And then Ethan Embry like takes the shot, and Pat Healy's like, what is that really like $50? And it's like and so then it escalates. And this movie becomes a series of like, kind of, it's a bunch of different dares essentially, and it's all based on the fact that neither of these guys have money, and I think it turns into a very good film.
No, it is. I like it a lot. It touches on a lot of things, especially who David Koechner and Sarah Paxton are.
Yes, and that's probably the most interesting part of the film.
Yeah, and the big reveal at the end,
what their real motive is behind anything. And I don't know if you ever really figure that out, though. I don't want to get into spoilers for this movie because it did come out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think it's very good. And if you don't know anything about it, going in, which you should, not that you, I didn't, nobody knows anything about this movie. I didn't know anything about it. This is another one I saw on Red Letter Media as well, I think. And it had a funny cover, so it's like I recommend the covers.
The cover is very darkly funny.
Yeah,
which the movie is as well.
The movie is very darkly funny.
But it does go into dramatic.
There's a fantastic scene involving a finger, which is so well timed. Like there's a scream that occurs that is really funny and disturbing and like wonderful, and I think it's a great scene. There's a lot of good stuff leading up to it though. Ethan Embry is so fantastic.
He is.
I really, really like him.
I've always liked him since That Thing You Do. Even before that, when he was like a kid. He did a few good movies that I like.
But also in The Guest. He's in The Guest. He plays the gun dealer.
Yeah.
I feel like when he's on screen, he has so much energy, and it's like it feels genuine. Like I mean, I don't know that he could play like a lot of characters necessarily. Like, he kind of has that like kind of redneck, kind of drunk, like alcoholic redneck vibe to him that is kind of yeah, man. Like, you know, he kind of was probably in a band. Like, he kind of like, which is I think what he's kind of like in real life. I bet. Like, you know, I don't know that he has a whole lot of range, but he's very
actually,
talented.
He is very talented. I don't know if you've ever seen his Vines.
Yes,
He has a very. I have him on Vine. He's very good. Like I said, I always followed him, and he was also in oh my god, Empire Records, another good movie. He was in Suburbia, so he always plays these smaller roles. That Thing You Do, I think, is probably his biggest film. But yeah, he's a character that I've always enjoyed. He also was in, again, I don't know, we've never talked about these, the Masters of Horror, that Showtime series. He was in the Abandoned something where he played this like a survivalist, and I remember that was like the strongest thing I've seen him, which is a lot like his character here, or even in The Guest.
Yeah,
he, like you said, the redneck
he plays.
character.
Yeah, he definitely plays the same character in The Guest.
So
I think he might be in Your Next as well.
Your Next,
maybe not.
No,
I
don't think so. I would have called.
He didn't play a lead or anything like that. I swear he plays like one of the guys with the mats or something. Nah, probably not. I don't know. But it's not important. Or one of the VHS movies, maybe. I don't know. It's not important at all, but he's great in this movie, and Pat Healy is really fantastic too. I like him a lot. He's in a lot of Ty West stuff. He was in Innkeepers, and he's in. It doesn't matter, but he's the performances are really good in this film. Even though, I mean, like, it's kind of a dirty movie. Like, it just kind of, you know, it's very much a genre film. You know, and there are tropes, you know, the here, but I think it has some style to it, even though it's very low budget.
Yeah.
You know, it really moves. I think it's interesting the whole way through. I don't know that everybody will like it, but I found myself drawn towards the idea of, like, if somebody were to give me money to do these things, would I do it?
Would I do it?
You know, because I'm not well off. I mean, we have enough money to survive, but we're definitely my family's always been paycheck to paycheck. You know, and so like the idea of like somebody, the opportunity coming along to make $20,000 for something, it's like that's an interesting concept. And even though it's been done before, it's interesting the way it's handled in this film. And it's not. I don't want to get into spoilers, but you know, some of the things that happen are very interesting, and it goes to a very dark place. That I really like.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I'm glad you liked it.
Oh, no,
I think it's very good. It wasn't like a favorite of that year, but upon rewatching it, I think it's a solid film. Anyway, so that's those are all the movies we've watched. Or at least I've watched a couple more, but these are all like kind of the more recent stuff that we've caught up. So now we're pretty much caught up on all the movies for the most part that we've seen. Let's talk about Twin Peaks.
Oh, Twin Peaks! I could talk hours on Twin Peaks.
I know we
have like 40 minutes, but I will say this: I'm glad that we're here. I'm glad we're at this point. I have referred Twin Peaks to every fucking person I know, and the people who I love and care about. I think 3 of them have seen what it is and what it did and what it has done. And of course, Jeremy now. I got nervous because I was like, you know what? I saw it with an ex-girlfriend a couple of years ago again, started watching it. And there are scenes that drag. And I was like, oh, kid, is it really that boring at this point? But no, it's not. And the girl didn't like it that much, and she's not here no more. But let's see what Rhonda thinks of this. After we watch Buffy, me and Rhonda are going to do Twin Peaks marathon. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I think this is... If Pulp Fiction was the movie that changed me, I'd say 3 years before was the show that changed me as a kid. I was like 19 when it came out, and when I saw it, I was like, holy fuck, this is unbelievable. And I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I've heard of David Lynch. I think the only movie I saw of David Lynch's might have been Dune, or might even been Elephant Man, and that's only because, you know, there was a kid down the block, Robbie Uzuk, shout out to you. His uncle had a copy of Eraserhead, and when he described it to me, I was terrified of it. I didn't want to see it. I don't want nothing to do with it.
Have you seen it yet?
I've seen Eraserhead like a zillion times. Yeah,
you've seen more.
And I'll be honest. I remember my favorite viewing of it was a party at the Whitney, and I had it on my iPhone watching it, and it's just such a great movie. But it was like I remember somebody coming down and hearing the girl sing in the pipes.
Yes.
She was like, "You're watching Eraserhead?" I was like, I got startled, and it was like a trustee.
Song though. Like,
yeah, and she was like, "Oh, I love that. It's so haunting." And I was like, "Ooh," but yeah.
Can we be friends? Is what I would say.
A billionaire, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think the whole concept of what he did, his love for, or his love of the fact that his mother loved to watch these soap operas day in, day out. He turned the soap opera on its head. He introduced incest. He introduced demonic supernaturalism. He introduced
possession.
Yeah, he had so much giant. Yeah, that's right. There's a giant in it, and there's a midget in it,
and some like hardcore like sexual. Stuff
for television,
and drugs and like
it became very sexual. Yeah, I remember. It's like Twin Peaks blew up the minute it aired. The pilot was re-shown a million times.
And then it's fantastic. That's why.
Yeah, and I remember the Entertainment Weekly, which just came out when Twin Peaks came out. They every week had something on Twin Peaks, and if it was a spread of them all naked, or if it was a spread of them with fucking Eskimo clothes on, it was like everywhere you went, you threw a rock. Twin Peaks was there, and it actually was the water cooler show that began water cooler shows, and I love it. I mean, I could go on, but I'll let Jeremy, who his fresh eyes, who the first time he's seen it 25 years after I've seen it, can say more about it. Jeremy.
It's okay.
Yeah, right. And this is the end of the show.
Yeah. And then Carlos murdered Jeremy. No, it's probably my new favorite show.
Good.
And it's not the best show I've ever seen.
No, it's not.
It's not perfect, but it's not. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying it's not perfect. It's not The Wire, but it is my new favorite show.
Delano said the same thing. It's not The Wire.
It's not The Wire, but there's no reason to compare anything to The Wire. No. I think it's more enjoyable than The Wire. I mean, this is one that I'll watch more than I finished it and I started it the same night. I haven't like continued watching through it since then, but I adored every minute of the show. Yes. It's not slow. It's not too strange. No. It's the perfect amount of weird and funny and dark, and it certainly has tonal issues in regards to like, scenes will just like shift tone and be funny, and like it's all over the place from a tonal standpoint. That's kind of what I like about it. I like how exactly. I like how it's not campy or anything like that. But
no, not at all.
It's just kind of like it's just strange, and it's not, like I said. I like it for its imperfections, for its imperfections, and it's just a fantastic show. I mean, I think. I do have some complaints. About, there are some complaints. It's more about like the way it ended, and it's not that like I think the actual ending to the show.
Are we going to spoil stuff or not?
Yes, yeah. Well, this show's 25 years old. Yeah. So, no, and we do need to spoil stuff to discuss what's going to happen. In the new show, which we kind of skipped over the news, but David Lynch is coming back to direct 18 episodes. 18 episodes, which is the best thing that's ever happened. Oh gosh,
I love it. It's my favorite.
It's just the best thing ever. I mean, I was so excited when I was watching this show, knowing that there's a hope that it's gonna continue to be a thing. And I mean, I don't think you'll ever be able to recreate those characters. I mean, like I'm thinking about like what's the dumbest guy in the town?
Bobby?
No, Bobby's not dumb. It's the
brother.
Oh. No, the officer. What's
it? She calls him. Like baby names. Oh, go back. I was back there. Oh, fuck.
Like, can you bring him back and do the same thing? I don't think you can. Like, there's characters like that just won't be the same. And some of them aren't alive anymore.
A few of them dead.
Eraserhead.
Jack Nance. Yeah.
Jack Nance isn't. He passed away. You have certain characters that won't be back just because of that.
Andy.
Andy. Yeah. Andy, Andy is probably my favorite character in any show. And I don't know his name. I'm bad with names.
Harry goes.
So there's gonna be a lot of times where I'm not in this conversation. I'm not gonna know the name of whatever character I'm talking about. But he's amazing, and I don't think you can you can recreate that, but it's not the same. It just will never be the same. Especially like him being like an old like grandfather now.
Yeah, right.
Like I mean you can still do it, but it's gonna be. David Lynch will make it work, or he won't include it if it's
exactly.
But there's just holy shit! I haven't because I'm like a week removed from watching this show. I'm like going totally blank on all the names. But
who? I'll tell you their names.
Well, the main officer. I'm going totally Cooper. So like even
Agent
Kyle
Cooper,
MacLachlan. Or is it McLachlan? How do you pronounce
Kyle
it? McLachlan. McLaughlin.
McLaughlin.
Like I don't know how much he's going to be involved in the coming back. I know when they made the movie, a lot of them were really hesitant to come in and be a part of it because they didn't want to get typecast as all these characters. And then at this point, at this point, their careers are either they've already happened. Or they're dead. So like a lot of them don't care at this point. I'm sure they just rather. I mean, I don't know if they're nostalgic about it or not, but I just don't know how excited they're going to be to come back to the show.
You say, like Michael Onkin, who played Harry Truman, he did shit after it. I mean, he was in The Descendants, and I remember when you showed it to me, I was like, he was in. I was like, well, what else has he been doing since fucking 1992? But he literally has done nothing since that show, So,
and I do have to say, it's one of the few shows that I've been really disappointed about the way it ends, simply because
and we need to talk about that.
I wanted more, and not. And I think the way that Cooper's storyline ends is really great.
It is.
I mean, it's hard to watch because you're like,
no, I know.
But at the same time, it's a great ending. But there's some characters though that I genuinely am just like, God, Audrey Horne's death is one of the worst things I've ever seen on television. There's no reason for her to be entering that bank.
Yes, I know.
And I'm fine with everything that happens at the bank, but she should not be there. There's no
I know. It was just
honestly, she should have just flown away on the plane with, which is one of the best scenes of the whole show. Though, it's just like, what was the line? It's like she's like. It's like there's like two lines. She's like, oh, "But are you gonna leave?" He's like, "I'm gonna be gone for good." And she's like, "I'm a virgin."
Yeah, that's right.
It's like I don't like if those aren't the lines, but it's like that whole scene is great. But she should have literally gotten on that plane and just left. Because there's nothing. Her character had nothing to do for the last 5 episodes of the show. Yeah, and honestly, I would like. That was another character. She's one of my favorite characters in the first season.
She is.
Her flirting with Cooper and stuff like that.
She's so
and she's gorgeous. She's one of the prettiest people I've ever seen
in
a show. I really think. And so then when they stop trying to do the whole flirtatious thing with then they have nothing to do with her and then she becomes really boring and flat and it's just bad writing on her part. It's not her fault. It's not what's her name's fault at all. What's her name? Sherilyn Fenn. It's not her fault at all. It's just she's poorly written for the second season. And then Ben Horne's death is stupid. He falls and hits the fireplace and these are actually about the show. I made notes about about the movie and about the show as well. I'm interested to see how they bring back the original cast though for the new one. I just don't know. Like I said, I don't know who's going to be really excited to come back for it.
Why wouldn't they? It's like Shirley is a big cheerleader. Ray Wise loves it. Matt shouldn't make it funny because I saw her in the videos, but I haven't really read about what she's been doing. she hasn't done shit lately either.
And nobody from the show really did a whole lot, other than starring in other David Lynch stuff.
So
Kyle MacLachlan's probably the
and the story about obviously. I mean, even though they list the new show in alphabetical order, so you don't really get a gist of who's major casting or not. But they only have 11 guaranteed, and that's of course Dana and Sherilyn Fenn and Sheryl Lee. They don't have Donna Hayward. Oh, yeah, they do have, but Lara Flynn is in it.
Well, I mean, she got replaced for the movie anyway.
Yeah, well, that's because she, like you said, she was like, well, I'm not going to be in that movie. It's going to typecast me.
Had a shit career anyway.
Yeah. But they do have all the good major people so far that they've started.
But my question is, how are they going to use any of those people, especially the way the show ended?
And that's what I'm saying. I think, because Michael Horse is in it, and I think it's going to be 25 years that the Bookhouse boys been trying to get back Cooper kick him out of the Black Lodge. Okay. And I think that's what it's going to be focused on. That's why it is alphabetical, but still he's in the middle of the characters because remember, Bob and Sheriff Cooper are now one. Yeah. And he is the evil of
I wonder
the Black Lodge.
Though, what if he didn't murder a bunch of people for? I mean, there's no way that he would go for 25 years without murdering anyone.
That's what I'm saying. No, there's got to be
But what if he was murdering people and getting away with it for a while?
Yeah.
And just under the possession of
Bob.
Well, sorry, I was talking about Bob possessing Cooper. Like, what if Cooper is getting away with these murders?
Yeah, and I agree.
I could see you bringing that. Honestly, I think he's probably going to start from scratch.
You think so? Well, that would be really cool, but not like I don't want him to like. I mean, they're his characters, but I'm just saying I don't want it to like. Guess what? There's a whole new show. I mean, it can't be because of the quote. No,
it'll still take place in the same world and still be. I just don't think you're going to be able to use a lot of the same characters in a way that's going to make any sense. It's kind of like the Star Wars films, like just because so much time has gone by. If it was 5 years or something, it'd be different. Everyone is very old in comparison now, and I don't think you can do a lot of the same character things with them anymore. And that's just gonna have to change. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm really excited about it, regardless.
No. I'm like right now we're discussing. What do you think he's gonna do? What do you think he's gonna do?
What's your favorite episode?
Besides episode 4 with when they first go to the Red Lodge, the dream.
Oh yeah.
Let me see. There's another one from. Hold on, let me go back.
The funeral one is really good.
This is Twin Peaks. No,
the funeral scene is probably one of my favorite scenes in a show. When what's his name? Leland. Is it Leland Palmer? When he jumps on the casket and just is crying, and then it goes up and down. It's one of the best things. Like that's when I showed my brother that scene, and that was that it's a selling point. Like that scene, it captures everything that's funny and kind of sad about the show. It's like there's some genuinely sad stuff in it, like Bobby's whole segment of that, and then you have, even if it's a little cheesy, kind of silly, but then you have some really funny, kind of pathetic, it's where the show really shines. That's a good example. Of that show, just kind of knowing exactly what it is, and my favorite episode.
What is your episode?
Is the one where they're kind of. It's almost like the town's under a spell.
12. There you go. Okay,
it's the one where David Lynch comes back for the last episode. It's the last time that he comes back to town. And he starts talking with what's the diner girl's name? It's the one that's dating Bobby.
Shelley.
And he falls in love with her. He's like, I can hear you perfectly. That whole diner scene is one of my favorite. That's probably my favorite scene or series of scenes in the entire show. Just because it's him, and then God, I'm so horrible with names today. And then Cooper has kind of fallen in love with Roller Girl, and
Heather Graham. That was ridiculous.
Heather Graham, who's great in it. She's great. I was very pleasantly surprised to see her in this.
I like in Fire Walk with Me that scene where he looks on the bed and she's there.
Oh yeah,
find me in the White Lodge or something like that. That really chilled me. I remember that gave me goosebumps.
That scene is so great though. It's just. It captures it because there's all these different characters and they're all interacting with each other and they're all in the diner, and then Bobby comes in and it gets all upset because she's making out with David Lynch. That segment is amazing. I love that episode. I'm trying to think what else happens in that episode, but I just
what happens?
Well, there's the good coffee stuff and the good the good jokes, the good classic jokes, and then you have all these new characters, and David Lynch is just so good in that scene though that I think it's that's why it's my favorite.
I'm trying to see. I know season 2. I like season 1. The dream. I love the cliffhanger ending with the gunshot. In season 2, where they finally do the quick, sorry ass. Let's wrap this all up and move on to other storylines. When Leland.
That's probably the best episode of the show. When it all kind of comes to a head. That's probably the closest to genuine emotion in the show that I actually, because this show, I mean, I don't really watch it for the plot. I don't really watch it because it's all over the place. I mean, and a lot of it's it's like the detective show where people have dreams and that's how they solve things. It's so you can't you really can't, and for people that are really into everything being about the plot, that it's probably not the show for them, and that might be the thing. I don't know if Rhonda's like that or not, but if they need for to be watching a show because of what's happening, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. No. It's just if you're kind of like that, this is probably not the show for you because it is supernatural and like I said, it's not. It just doesn't really. Stuff is explained in ways that are clearly just them making stuff up
Yeah.
to fit the writing, you know, to be able to continue the show on further. You know, and you definitely, it takes a while for, you know, you to find out about Leland Palmer. Like, it takes a long time to find out about that. You know, so I could see people just going like, this makes no sense. It's going in so many directions. But at the same time, though, I come back though because of the characters and because of the humor. The humor in the show
the humor is really
is
good.
and just
Really
the style of it, because it really. I think it's one of the most stylistic shows. Even even though a lot of it is supposed to look like a soap opera kind of but that's part of its style though, and you know the kind of that like. There's always like that jazz kind of playing under everything, and it just the way people talk. It's very
the talking.
It's very elevated and very I just like watching it and like just listening to the people talk like this and talk. Like Audrey. Audrey Horne.
Were there any moments that you were scared besides?
I think creepy, really there's some good stuff with Bob. I think the stuff with Leland Palmer, the dancing scene is really disturbing. Right? But there's the scene, and David Lynch talks about it in some interviews. Where you see Bob at the end of the bed, just sitting there.
Oh, that one always got me when there he is. They cut to it, and you're like, oh.
I think there's scarier stuff in the movie.
We're gonna get to that next. But let me ask you, when Agent Cooper raises his head and looks in the mirror, isn't that the fucking
It's pretty creepy.
The fucking hair, I'm even thinking about my hair standing. But I remember as a kid, me and my sister, Saturday night, we were watching that season finale, and when he did that, I was like, I said, no fucking way. And she was like, holy shit. And I got all these goosebumps when he starts laughing, those eyes are all, oh my God. And I was like, oh fuck, this
How's
is
Annie?
Right. Yeah. So the movie.
That's the line, right?
Yeah. So Fire Walk With Me.
I think it's kind of bad. Which is weird because it's very much not like the show.
No,
and that was intentional. I mean, you're moving formats. You're coming from television. That was one thing I was interested in was, are you going to shoot it in 16:9? Are you going to shoot it in Cinescope? Are you going to shoot it in 4:3 like the TV show is? Stuff like that. You have to think about that when you're going from TV to movie. And so that was interesting to kind of see the way that he handles it. So he decides to go still in the same world, but take it kind of more of as a straight. I mean, there's some dark humor in it. I'm trying to think what was funny in that movie. There was one moment that I thought was kind of funny. Oh, the best line in the film. The turkey scene with him and what's that character's name? Is it Jimmy?
Because those are the other characters that we don't see since this is the beginning. Hold on.
The motorcycle guy. That the sex scene with Laura Palmer.
Oh
is one of the silliest. It's just bad, but it's funny. Like
James Hurley. Yeah.
James is the character's name.
Hurley,
okay, James. Yeah. So the James and Laura Palmer scene, where I forgot the line, but it's something along the lines of like. Are you it's like a turkey, and then she says gobble gobble
gobble gobble.
Or so, it's completely ridiculous and kind of wonderfully bad. Like but I think it is bad. Like I don't know. I can't defend that scene at all from a real like artistic standpoint. But so there's some, I don't know if that was intentional or not. It's funny if it was. It's either way it's funny, but and I think Laura Palmer's really bad.
Yeah.
So this is the weird thing though. So one of my favorite film critics, Mark Kermode, he's a British. I think I don't know which. I think it's The Guardian, BBC. He also does radio for BBC. But he reviewed this film. He's a big fan of David Lynch and like really loves it and thinks it's one of the best horror films. Not they said this in like 2000. I watched a video from like 2007 or maybe a little later. So I don't know how recent that is, but he was like, "This is one of the best horror films of all time." I think she gives such a great performance in it, and I was just like, I've never felt like I really am generally kind of aligned with what he thinks.
Yeah.
That's why I like him a lot, because he thinks like I do, or because I agree with him. Like I like the critics that I agree with, but no. So I generally, this is one I think he's completely wrong. I think her performance is really bad at times. Yeah. There is some good stuff in it though. But like when she has to be scared, it's painful. Like there's the scene where she sees her father, and there's some like really scary stuff in terms of conceptually scary things. The idea of knowing that your father is evil in some way, or know that he's been raping you your whole life is horrifying.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's handled very well in this film. It's so David Lynch, you know, he's a director that, you know, he's very visual in the way that he tells stories and stuff like that. But then when he has to have people talk, sometimes it doesn't work. It's not because it's just strange. I don't know that it's not that he doesn't get it or anything like that. He just like he's more a visual person than he is like a person that can write dialogue, and it's not even that he can't write dialogue. It's just like the way that he has actors perform dialogue is strange. Like, and that's where I think he's the most strange, when he's doing crazy weird stuff with puppetry and just like rant like Eraserhead or something like that. Yeah. I don't think that's that weird. I mean, it's weird, but it's not like it's that makes more sense to me than like when you have a scene where somebody's talking and like I don't understand why they're talking the way they're talking. Like that's where David Lynch is really strange to me. Like in Eraserhead, when he meets the family and just one of them starts going or whatever and like starts like like I don't know. It's like what are they doing? I don't like, and some of it is like in Eraserhead there's a lot of like symbolism and like, or you can take it that way. I mean, or you can just say take it straight. It doesn't matter. But like he is operating at another level in regards to like he'll have characters do weird things, but like for a reason that doesn't make any sense to the audience.
Maybe only.
I'm not saying that means it's good. I'm just saying he'll do that unapologetically, which is what I like. It's also what I dislike about it.
And that's what I think. And it's funny because I think that's what happened. The way he fizzled out of TV. I mean, he started doing things for himself. Like, that's what happened. Like, he was like, well, I want to direct it this way. And they were like, yeah, no, that don't make sense. And he was like, all right, so peace. And, like, he only came back for the last episode just for the fans. But, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, David Lynch is an artist at heart. And it's like, if you watch all his early artist shit, it's fucking creepy as balls. And it makes no sense, but it's very...
I have to disagree to a point there. Okay.
Sorry.
Like, I think, like, Eraserhead and stuff like that. Like, I actually watched Eraserhead for the first time this week. I bought the Criterion.
I saw that. Where'd you buy that?
Fries. I actually paid, like, $10 more than on Amazon, but I wanted to get it immediately, and then I got home and I was like, oh, I could have maybe price matched that, but whatever. So I paid, like, $30 for it, but that's a typical
But that's how when it got re-released, it was around $29.99.
It's always, they're always $30. Or sometimes $40 if, the Brazil is, like, $40 or something like that. Yeah, they have $40, but normally they're $30. Mm-hmm. So I paid $30, and I bought Eraserhead. I also bought a bunch of movies. We're not going to get to that today. Yeah. But I love that movie a lot. And I started watching, like, Criterion has a lot of good extras. You can watch all of his original short films,
they're good. Some of them are freaking
The Alphabet is really good. I really like that one. That's the one the girl's tied to the bed. She's like A B C, and she like starts grabbing the letters. It's fantastic. Like that's a really good short film. And so I watched Eraserhead for the first, and I've started watching a lot of. The only film I had seen of David Lynch's or anything from him was Blue Velvet before watching Twin Peaks. And so I hadn't seen Elephant Man. I hadn't seen Mulholland Drive. I still haven't seen Elephant. I've seen parts of Elephant Man, but I still haven't finished Mulholland Drive. Mm-hmm. You know what? I was going to say this earlier when you were asking me about what was creepy. The scene in Mulholland Drive when they go out behind the diner.
Oh my God! Right?
Like genuinely,
and it has nothing to do with anything, but it
genuinely freaked me out last night.
I know.
I literally got chills and was like, oh! I like had to turn the volume down for a second. It was like, and it wasn't like I was like, I don't know why it's scary, but like the tone of it and just kind of like that's a genuinely great scene. I mean, the face is kind of creepy, but But like, I just think it was just the score of that is so unsettling. So great moment. I'm excited to watch the rest of Mulholland Drive. It's a weird movie already though. Like Justin Theroux.
Justin Theroux.
I like him a lot. But there's that scene where like they're all sitting and the guy has the coffee and then they all start arguing about the movie. That's what I do. That's when David Lynch. I like David Lynch a lot though. It's like that's another example of a scene where people are talking. And you're like, I don't know why they're talking like this. But it's also kind of what I like, and I think he sees the humor in everything, and that's what I've started kind of realizing when I've been watching some of the interviews with him. Like, he's just a genuinely great guy. Yeah. It seems like, I mean, he might be difficult to work with, but like he's a dude that really loves what he's doing and really wants to have total creative control. Another thing I like as a filmmaker myself, like I like the fact that he's willing to compromise, like, shooting on film and stuff like that so that he can make it himself. Like, that's always something I've liked. Like, you know, he's like, I'll sacrifice and not make this for 5 years or whatever, like Eraserhead, so that I can get it done the way I want to. And like, you know, even if it's not perfect, because I don't always think his vision is perfect. Yeah. You know, I think he certainly, there are mistakes in his films, but like, I do admire the fact that like he really doesn't want any of his art to be interfered with, and you know, he really, it's very not stream of conscious necessarily, but that's kind of the way his movies work. Like you know, they don't always make sense, they're not always perfect, but like at least they're his movies and he's proud of them, and you know, that I like that aspect about David Lynch a whole lot. And I just like the fact that he wants creative control, because that's like, I feel like
he deserves it. I think any artist deserves that.
Well, but I like the fact that, you know, I agree with that, but at the same time, like, I've always been a fan of, like, you know, if you want to keep creative control and stuff like that, don't shoot on film. Don't like try and, you know, like, don't. Like, why not just go and, you know, even if the quality's, even if it's not perfect, that's what I mean, that's what I'm saying, like, even if your final product isn't as good necessarily as if you had money and been able to do it, like, with a full team and stuff like that, it's totally worth having total creative control, and, like, you know, why not go shoot it on some crappy digital camera just so that you can be able to shoot it and do whatever you want, and, you know, and so, like, his movies have kind of that, like I said, they're like they a lot of them are done for low budget. I'm not Mulholland Drive and some of his later stuff would be.
I mean, you're doing, you know, that Mulholland Drive was like another pilot for ABC.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, that was his next Twin Peaks, and then of course you haven't seen it all, but
no,
you've heard about what the movie's about.
I know I don't. So
all right, so ABC told him, we're not going to do another Twin Peaks. And he was like, all right. And then he made as a film.
Gotcha. But yeah, anyway, like, I don't want to, because we're just talking about this. It's like we just paused because Carlos had a phone call and then talked about what we're going to do next week. I think we're going to do a full episode on David
I think it'll be part 2 next
because I want to finish up watching, like I said, I'm working on Mulholland Drive right now. I want to watch Elephant Man. I do want to revisit Blue Velvet. I haven't seen it since we watched it.
We watched it 2 years ago.
I do love that movie, though. I'm really excited to go back to it now that I've seen Twin Peaks and whatnot. Obviously.
How about Lost Highway 7?
No, and Inland Empire I haven't seen.
Empires,
I literally, David Lynch was one of those directors that I'd never watched a thing, and I knew that I would like the movies, like, because I'd seen Blue Velvet, and I was like, I know I'm gonna like watching, you know, his stuff. And I hadn't seen Blue Velvet though until that was only like a year ago that we watched, or maybe 2 years. Ago, But yeah, like, so I'm so excited to watch the rest of his films, even though like I said, I don't think they're perfect. There's times where I'm bored, but at the same time, like I don't know, there's something to them that I do like.
Style.
You know, it's the style that I think is really what I admire a lot, and the fact that and that's what I love so much about Twin Peaks is just kind of the humor and you know, the characters and just the elevated level of dialogue and speak and the music and just everything, like the whole vibe, the whole.
Yeah, I'm glad that Angelo Badalamenti is going to be doing the soundtrack to the show.
Yeah.
I mean, them working together. I remember they had a whole press conference in France the other day, and I was very excited. I was like, you know, and Angelo Badalamenti says he's worked on so much stuff, you know, throughout the years for that were Twin Peaks inspired. It should be really good. And Julie Christie, I hope, comes back into some of that music. She does all the songs. She sang "Falling," which was actually a big hit back then for the movie. That's when the giant comes out and says, "It is happening again." I love that part.
Yeah, the movie is. I see. I think I like a lot about the film. It's not that it's terrible or anything. I just think I think her performance is bad at sometimes, but that's about it. And there's some strange stuff that happens in that movie, but there is some really disturbing stuff, and you know, it's more of a straight horror film.
Yeah,
and I don't know that it works that well, but I think there's a lot of cool stuff there.
Yeah, and I love Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me. I mean,
I would say the issue with it is that it doesn't. So it's like it's why name it I almost don't understand why it is a Twin Peaks movie because it doesn't really follow Twin Peaks, and so it's you have like. It's set in the same world, but the tone is different.
Oh, that's right. You haven't seen. All right, so here, real quick, I forgot. Maybe you knew this or not. Okay, so the movie was shot, like you said, as a prequel.
Yeah.
and a sequel.
Yeah, it was supposed to,
and then cut out an hour and a half of scenes.
Yeah, like
that had to do with everything. Yeah,
and all that stuff.
You know, but of course, Truman's in there. Grace Chen's in there.
So that's why they're all
in there.
credited,
and they're all cut out of the film. And you know, that's why the big thing when the Blu-ray came out was like, and now it comes with the movie with all.
Oh, really?
Hour and a half of film.
Okay, that's worth $80.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you get both the TV show and the movie uncut with the hour and a half extra that shows you what would have been Twin Peaks 25 years later.
Okay.
So that's why he did this, and now when we do see 25 years later, we'll see. But I mean, yeah, the scenes were like, you know, like he didn't put it in because he didn't want to, you know, he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to give critics everything they wanted. So you did, like, you know, there's like I mean, I remember going to the website. The website finally closed, but they showed you half the scenes, described them, what they were about, how they fell into the film, context to the show.
Oh wow!
And it's really good. And like I said,
but see, the thing is though, like you still have like you have it's a Twin Peaks movie, right?
Yeah.
Based on a show that we all love,
Yeah.
you know, and I don't know at the time like how I mean you said it was a huge show.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming I'm just going off your word.
Yeah.
Well, you know, exactly. I don't know why you would lie, especially about something like that. It doesn't matter. But then you kind of have this change in tone, even if all those characters do come back and it is more like the show in that hour and a half, which I would assume so. But even like in the way it's directed and the way it's performed, like Cooper acts very differently in the movie than he does in the show.
In the show, yeah.
And it's just there's kind of
because it's before. I mean, and you're not.
But like this is okay. These are not complaints really, but you're watching it, you're kind of like. He doesn't seem like the same person. Like even like when he's talking into the. I mean, there's times where like when he keeps going to the monitor and like in the film and
that's cool.
In the hallway, like, and that's all good stuff. But it's just like it's something's off about it. You don't quite know what it is, and then you kind of figure out that it's more of a traditional horror film than like than the show. Yeah. It's just like, okay, I'm fine with that. But then they start like doing things that I don't think happened, like Bobby kills somebody.
Yeah.
And it's like and so like that's where I kind of draw the line. It's like especially from like a director like David Lynch who loves that series. He probably loves that series more than we do.
Yeah.
You know, it's like why would you start changing stuff like that? Like, and you don't like it doesn't really need to be in the movie. Like I don't know. It was kind of a weird. I don't know that movie needs to exist without that hour and a half.
Yeah, interesting.
There's some scary stuff in it, but it's not enough to we know what's happening if you've seen the show, but I don't know that it's good enough to stand by itself because then you have all these random scenes where she just runs into random people and it's like if you haven't seen the show you're just like, well, who is that? And, so it's like I don't know who its audience is, especially coming from a director who does care this much about that subject. It's just kind of I don't know. It's kind of off.
Yeah,
but I do think there are a lot of good things in it, and I will probably revisit. I'll certainly rewatch this series before it gets re-released.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I want to get the blue. My birthday's coming up actually soon. I think I'm going to get the box set.
Yeah, the box set. Yeah.
For that, I'm going to
treat myself. Japanese box set has all that extra stuff too.
Oh really?
Yeah, there's the little creepy flower that as you open it up, there's things inside and all the way to the bottom now.
Dang. The Japanese get everything.
Yeah, I wanted that. And then it was like after I got mine, it was like, what was it? I'd say maybe early this year in January, it went down to like $75, the Japanese version. I was like, what?
I think the normal one is
it's all now you can get it for $80.
Yeah, so that's
I looked out, I remember I called them because they were charging me more than it was on sale, and when I called her, the girl was like, well, let me just put it in. And it was like we were on the phone, we were up like past midnight. And as soon as like after 12:01, she was like, oh, wait, the price dropped again. And it went down to like 107 I got it for when it first came out. So I was happy I didn't pay that much. But now, you get it for $80 and the Jap
and it's on Blu-ray. Is it still in 4:3? Oh. I don't care. I don't mind this at all. I'm just
let me check.
I was interested in seeing that. We're actually...
Yeah, we're going to wrap this up, but I just want to grab it. I got it here still plastic size.
Because there's things like that I was wondering about. Like I don't know if you... did you ever watch The Sopranos when it was on the air?
Yes, I did.
Was The Sopranos in 16:9 or was it in 4:3?
It was, I think it was 16:9 actually.
Okay, because that was always weird to me. Like The Wire was in 4:3, and then I have a box set of The Sopranos. It's still on DVD though, and it well because they re-released it recently on Blu-ray. So I have the DVD, like the giant freaking box set of it, and it's in 16:9, and so I was wondering, it was like. Wow. I don't know how television was made back in the day. I don't know if they would shoot it in 16.
Behind you, so you can actually see the better.
I don't know if they were shooting in 16:9 and then cropping it to 4:3. Okay, so the series is in 4:3. 4:3, it looks like. And then the film is in 16:9. These are just things that I was interested in, like because of the Sopranos was the first one where I was like, was this original? Because I wasn't around when these shows were. I was alive, but I wasn't aware that these shows existed, and so I was like, why is The Sopranos in 16:9 versus and so I don't know if that was the one that threw me off. Like I didn't understand. I was like, I thought they were all in 4:3. The Sopranos screwed it up. But anyway, we gotta close this out.
Next week will be part
David
2
Lynch.
of David Lynch.
This is a continuing.
And what we'll do is we'll follow the films.
I've seen Elephant Man, or no, I've seen Eraserhead. I'm gonna. I don't know where I'm gonna find Elephant Man. I'm watching Mulholland Drive right now, and I've seen Blue Velvet. I'm hoping to see. They're all like 3 hours though, so I don't know if I'll be able to get through all of them, but this week. But I'm gonna try because I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood right now.
I think it's good, and then we can actually discuss. So I would love for you to see Lost Highway. That's the closest to a Twin Peaksian film. But there's 2 movies. Have you seen Wild at Heart?
No, I haven't seen that.
Wild at Heart is the movie that came out right when the series came out. So and so it's so great. But and all the stars from Twin Peaks are in it. But then Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me was a year later. So, but yeah, definitely you need to see these films, and I think it'd be great to discuss the oeuvre of David Lynch in the next episode.
And so then we're going back to our kind of old format of directors anyway. So these are all good things. Yeah, and then I do want to do Cronenberg eventually as well.
Yeah.
Cronenberg's going to take me a while, though, because there's a lot of stuff I haven't seen. He's made a lot of movies, so to be fair, that'll take a bit. But yeah, so that is our Twin Peaks episode of Indecisive Cinema, episode 16. And we're about to sign off. If you have a chance, hit up our iTunes page and go and just leave us a review on there if you would. YouTube, that would be great. It just helps us
Twitter.
It helps people see, it helps us rank higher in the search and stuff like that. If somebody does type in movies or podcast, movie podcast or something like that, then we'll show up higher, and we would appreciate that just because that brings more people to listen to us.
Amen.
And then if you ask us questions on Twitter and Facebook, and like the page. We have Facebook. We're on everything now, so hit us up on there. Let us know what you guys think of the show. What you think of Twin Peaks. What you think of everything we're talking about.
Peaks is great.
All right, guys, that's about it.
So I'm Carlos Hernandez.
And I'm Jeremy Knight.
And this was episode 16, David Lynch. Good night.